Several days ago, Carson Wentz, uh, Eagles starting quarterback, was traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a second and third round pick. The second round pick could go up to a first if he plays, I believe, 75% of his snaps. I have said this for months and months and months and months. This makes so much sense. I've tried to tell people on Twitter. Every time I've said Carson Wentz on my videos, I've mentioned he's going to the Colts. It's obvious, and I mean, lo and behold, it happens. This is absolutely phenomenal for the Colts. Like I said, if Deshaun Watson goes to the Broncos, they're Super Bowl contenders. The Indianapolis Colts are 100% Super Bowl contenders right now. Phillip Rivers this past season played with the Colts, and his last season in the NFL, his only season with the Colts, that was arguably his worst season ever in the NFL. He could not throw more than about 10, 15 yards. He was a lot like Drew Brees, but just people weren't talking about it because, he's not as big of a star as Drew Brees. He's old, just can't throw well. But they were still nearly able to defeat the Buffalo Bills in the wild card matchup. And the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL this season. I know they lost to the, Chiefs in the blowout in the AFC Championship game. But the Bills were one of the better teams this year. And they were still nearly beat them in the playoffs with, Phillip Rivers not being good. They have a nice offense with some young players, Marlon Mack, and they have Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. They have a great defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Not to mention, I said offense. They probably have the best offensive lineman in the NFL, and Quentin Nelson. Defense, they have a top 5 defense. And, you have Carson Wentz, who goes to Indianapolis now with Frank Wright, who was his offensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles for 2 seasons, his rookie season and his second year. His second year with Frank Wright and the Eagles, he was a MVP candidate up until he was injured. He had 33 touchdowns and just 7 interceptions. Also had 300 rushing yards as well. And they were, that was a season the Eagles won a Super Bowl, and Carson Wentz looked like a top 5 quarterback at that point. He was going to win the MVP if he stayed healthy. He was phenomenal. And the fact, ever since, Frank Wright leaves the Eagles, he's not been the same. I don't think that's, I think that's something to really look at. Wentz, he benefits from Frank Wright a lot, and I think they're going to help each other. And, the Colts, like I said, they were good this past season. But now with, Carson Wentz, in my opinion, I think it's a major upgrade over Phillip Rivers. I hear people say, the Eagles robbed the Colts. I don't think that way at all. I think when it's all said and done, I think it's a possibility that the Colts robbed the Eagles. I know it sounds crazy, but the Colts are 100% Super Bowl contenders right now. And, it's first and second round pick. If a first and second round pick gets you to the AFC Championship game, and have a chance to play in the Super Bowl and win it, that's 100% worth it. Wentz with Frank Wright, that is going to be, really, really good for the Colts. And, it also kind of benefits the Eagles too. It's not totally sure, what they're going to do with, Jalen Hurts. They're probably going to get some weapons for him. But maybe they can use those picks for a wide receiver or something like that to give him some more weapons because, he really doesn't have many weapons, and that's part of the reason why Carson Wentz struggled so much this past season. And, he struggled so much because of the offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line was horrible this past season. Look at the Colts. They have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. I really think the Colts are immediately Super Bowl contenders with this trade, and I think they are a team to watch out for in the AFC and just the NFL in general this season.